The following presentation is for mature audiences only.
Who are you?
He's a fine man.
All hell is broken loose.
He's a great broadcaster.
He's a very powerful guy.
Absolutely brilliant.
Feared by men, adored by women.
He's a smart boy. It's patriotic.
It's no big deal.
It's the end of the world.
I might as well tell you now. He's a monkey.
And how you doing, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages? Welcome into another edition of The Wyldeside with Eric Clark. I'm your host, Eric Clark, saying thank you for taking time out of your busy day to give my little video a watch and a listen. If you like it, like it. If you think other people are going to dig it, give it a share. Make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel and you're following on all the social media I have linked down below. Become an official CONCURPA by becoming a Patreon. All of that down there, no obligation, but I appreciate any and all contributions to the channel. It helps the channel grow. Before we get started in today's video, I do want to say thank you to Connect 200 Music to See and Aunt Betty's Nut Butter. Today's video is coming from our moderator, Valte. He likes to collect the suggestions we get during live streams, Wednesdays 11 a.m., Saturdays 2 p.m. Tria would be mad at me for not promoting that. So Valte does a great job of keeping everything organized, help me keep everything organized. So today we are back on the Nightwish train, and we are checking out from the Human Nature album the track called Tribal, but we're checking out the live version, Masters of Rock 2022 version. It's Tribal, Nightwish, here on the Wyldeside.
After our years on the couch and our years without festivals, we're released back into the wild. How about we go a little bit tribal tonight, huh? 10,000 tales gonna carry us back. The soul of us.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's an intense 4 minutes right there, man. That is an intense 4 minutes. That is Tribal Live, Masters of Rock 2022 from the Ronnie James Dio stage. Nightwish, thank you, Volte, for that. Another great example of unexpected layerings by someone who really understands how to create a piece of music through layers. And what I mean by unexpected, and there are many things to pull apart from this, vocals go in a direction you don't expect them to. What's really cool about Nightwish is that they've made that Ilian pipe, that flute, whatever people liken it to, what Troy's doing, the way he's integrated him into that band so perfectly with how and when to use that tone has almost made them a standalone for that instrument. Like, I don't know if anyone else can really integrate that sound with this music as well as Tuomas Holopainen does with Nightwish. Just absolutely perfect in when and where and how much to put something in. And it always impresses me when I watch Nightwish because I'm waiting to see what's different. It's almost like these pictures you have and you say, okay, find the differences in the pictures. Find the things you weren't expecting. What really stood out for me in this particular performance was, and I think maybe there's been one other track I've seen like this, where Empu, who is really for a lot of these performances, Empu is the instrumental thread that connects all of the energies that are happening on stage, because he's creating a tone, a specific tone for a specific song. So this one in particular was quite different in that the tone and the setting, the mood, was really created by Kai and the bass player, whose name escapes my brain right now because I've got something else I was going to say, but I didn't say it, so everything has gone out the window now, and now I'm slowly losing train of this thought. So let me get back on it real quick. It's a Kai show, without a doubt. The really cool changes and shifts and subtleties I noticed. I don't know if this is something that all drummers do. I don't know if it's something that he does, but I noticed that he's got a tambourine down low, and it looks like it was tied into one of the bass kicks. So when he was hitting that bass kick, there was that, I talk about subtleties, there was that subtle tambourine sound. You'd be amazed at how many songs are made better with a tambourine, and yet you don't notice it until someone points it out and you go, oh my God, yeah, that's right, that tambourine is killing it right now. So he's really, I say so too much, he's really innovative with how he creates his multi-rhythmic pulse, this heartbeat that he's creating through the song. And with a song like Tribal, he's even creating something that you didn't, you're like, okay, I'm going into a song Tribal, it's going to be like this. If I were doing a song Tribal, here's how the drums should sound. And then he comes in and you're like, okay, that is a completely different level of tribal connection that I was able to create through my own expectation. So again, the band is always so good at exceeding your predictive AI. When when Floor and Troy are harmonizing, Troy showed great respect to the original source, if you will, and maintained that almost off tone, yet it harmonized, right? So if you took her voice out and he sang that way, you would be like, huh, that sounds very monotone. It sounds very monotone, yet it's not. Because if you listen to his monotone, there are inflections in certain parts of it because that's how good they are. And then when she comes in with her high end, and again, even she's a little monotone as well. what they're doing is creating these really subtle flexes within that monotone that create an ebb and flow. So when they harmonize together, it doesn't sound monotonous. It sounds very breathable. It sounds very sojournistic. You allow yourself to ride on that wave. And something that I do want to point out about this track before I wrap it up, Tuomas, I've said it in other videos, and I can't remember if people authenticated my theory or not, confirmed my suspicions or not, but he's got to be a big fan of John Carpenter movies. He really does, because between Mike Oldfield and John Carpenter, there's this, and it's probably more Mike Oldfield than John Carpenter. He's able to create something that not a lot of bands can do, which is create a mood within a theme that has nothing to do with the creation of the mood. I know this isn't making sense. I'm sorry. I'm really trying to make sure I'm saying this the right way. So everybody else is doing something, and it's about this thing. Okay? It's about this thing. He writes the song, it's about this thing, it's idea in his head, do this. And then while they're doing that, he creates this tone around that. It's always a lurking, it's almost a lurking vibe that he creates on those keyboards with the certain changes of tone on his keys. He creates this impending force that's always lurking in the background. And it's very reminiscent of, I'm not saying it's a horror movie or anything like that, but it's very reminiscent of a thriller. I've always told people I'm not afraid of jumping out of airplanes. I'm not afraid of any of that stuff. I'm afraid of being hunted, right? Like that is the ultimate fear for me, is being stalked. And that's what he creates on those keys in this song. And it's super cool how he does it, regardless of what the song meaning is or what you get from the song. And I think we all kind of get the same thing about what a song called Tribal would be about. How we all go into our little tribes and we live in these echo chambers, and we need to get out of these tribes and we need to integrate with each other more so that we can become a stronger force, unified, things like that. So that's beside the point. But yet it's not, because he's so good, not just musically, but I've always said that Tuomas is so good about taking something that is so unique and individual to him and making it universal in its journey, in its exploration. He's able to pull you in to whatever he's developing, to whatever he's building. He's able to pull you into that and allow you to go on your own journey with it. And you're kind of simpatico, you're kind of parallel in your journeys, in your esoteric journeys while listening to the music, but you're never going to be on the same wavelength as Tuomas. Not many of us are. But what he's so good about doing is making something universal that comes from something so specifically individual and unique. So it's just absolutely brilliant. And I like that whole record, Human Nature. I love the whole record. It reminds me a lot of Pink Floyd's Momentary Lapse of Reason, in that once I say sides, I'm sorry, we're all old. I think you get it. One side is a digestible side, a side that is meant to feed the masses. And then another side of the album is very experimental, very vulgar, very unabashed in its exploration, just really super cool, very progressive, very almost avant-garde in how it's delivered, and yet it all makes sense. So very, very well done. Good record. Great track. Thank you very much, Volte, for that suggestion. Again, if you have a suggestion, you can hit me up with a DM. You can leave it in the comments. Hit me up with a Patreon request. However you got to get it to me, just make sure you're linking the version that you want me to check out. So thank you very much, Volte, for linking up Tribal by Nightwish. I enjoyed it thoroughly. So again, thank you very much to Connect 200 Music to See and Aunt Betty's Nut Butter. Thank you to all of you for taking time out of your busy day to give my little video a watch and a listen. Make sure you're looking out for each other. Make sure you're looking out for your neighbor. Try to do at least one good thing a day. I am Eric Clark, and this has been The Wild Side.